Issue 68. After a few panels are wasted on a pointless recap, Antoine asks if not whole will remain 3 hours in the future forever, purely to remind the audience that this is the case. And it's really annoying me how that 3 hours into the future thing hasn't been used for anything useful or interesting yet, and has done nothing but make characters remind you that it exists. The freedom fighters and Sonic's parents are waiting for Sonic to arrive at his 16th birthday? I would expect him to be 13 or 14 at most, considering how early in the comic this is, although modern Sonic is 15 and the adventure adaptation will come at some point. But you'd think they'd wait until then to have this birthday happen. Then we see Mobototropolis with Nate in a red cloak disguise with Sonic and Tails because they want to avoid a panic being caused at sight of an Overlander. But considering Nate's face is clearly visible below the hood, it's obvious that he's one anyways. And you'd think he'd be so famous because of his contribution to the city that everyone recognized him on sight from that. Also, Sonic says that he's short, which I just noticed now, and that does explain why he's the same height as Sonic. The city is being prepared for a parade because even though they landed the biplane on the outskirts of town, word apparently still got out early about Sonic's coming home, and the citizens must be putting on a surprise party for him to show their appreciation for him. And after we cut to another satellite being activated by a person, we cut to Big Kahuna Island on the deserted city of West Robotropolis. Wait, why is it deserted? There were problems with overpopulation in Robotropolis earlier, but those problems wouldn't have happened if they didn't ignore this place. Especially since if this place was populated, Snively and his fellow criminals wouldn't have been able to get away with hiding here after taking the crystallized Kodos and Arachnids with them, for a reason that even one of the criminals is confused by because they're not doing anything to help. And I'm thinking maybe the airship they escaped in didn't have any missiles to attack Mobototropolis with, because why else would they land here first? After Snively's nervous about suddenly being in charge of a bunch of arguing villains, Arachnids and Kodos magically recover from the crystal forms for no reason, even though Ixis was brought back to Zone of Silence a long time ago. So you'd think if that was the reason, they would have recovered from it way long ago. Nicole then tells Sally that she's receiving an urgent signal from the king in her radio transmitter, and Sally compliments Rotor on upgrading Nicole's systems and putting the effort to justify that. The king says that he's been trying to contact Sally for 2 days now and has been failing for some reason, and says everyone has to go to Mobototropolis immediately or they'll miss this citywide celebration. We then go back to Sonic with Tails hovering in front of a large crowd, somehow not giving himself away immediately with that. And the fact that it's lampshade just makes him not getting caught all the more glaring because they know that was a problem. But unfortunately, the city starts getting attacked by falling boulders. And Sonic tells Tails to help the bystanders while he'll get rid of the flames, and Nate of course hides to protect himself. We then see Bunny actually doing something for a change as she's carrying some citizens to safety herself while walking over the devastation in flames with her extendable legs. After Nicole says that the cluster of asteroids near the planet shouldn't be close enough to be falling onto the city, not so much what a coincidence it'd be that they're landing here. Sonic then grabs Sally and carries her, and after the asteroids have stopped falling, Nate is introduced to the freedom fighters as someone who helped to defeat Ixis Noggins. Then Sally worries about her father being okay. Sonic then says he hasn't seen him and is surprised he'd even know he was back, and asks about the big celebration happening. Rotor says that the king must have been talking about someone else from Sally's past returning when he contacted her. Oh, Elias! That's really clever writing. It makes sense that he'd be vague about his phrasing because he wanted to surprise her, and it just so happened that Sonic was returning at the same time. Of course, Jeffrey's paranoia kicks in as he immediately accuses Nate of being an assassin for being an overlander, like a racist. And the king fortunately takes Nate's side immediately without even needing to learn about Nate's accomplishment. Also, fortunately, they still remembered to celebrate Sonic's birthday. I can't imagine Sally would be happy about Elias showing up though, as brother or not, he's still, as far as she concerns, a stranger who just showed up to seal her position as the heir to the throne. There's probably going to be a lot of tension and jealousy on Sally's part, which would be especially heartbreaking for Elias since I'm betting he's just raring to start getting to know her, after he bonds with his father of course because he mentioned him first. Also, I'd like to point out that when we were shown the happy future in the In Your Face special, we were shown Sonic and Sally ruling the kingdom, not Elias. So obviously something's gonna happen much later so that Elias won't be able to rule the kingdom, giving it to the next in line. This is the problem with showing the future so early in the comic, it's bound to get contradicted when you introduce new things. The next story continues where the wolf pack left off, as they climb up a ladder out of the raft during the storm. Huh, Diablo, that means hell, right? I know Diable means hell in French, so they basically named a character Hell. They got away with that. For some reason, they have a little fight over how they supposedly don't have time to let all the air out of the raft to be able to carry it with them for later use. First off, why the big hurry? And second, why waste the raft? Let's point out that even though they're finding houses, they can't find any people around, and we see a hand in front of a broken window looking over them. Then they hear a noise and warily go up to that window. What's fascinating is that even though they find a human there, the first thing Lupe says is not that she's an overlander, but that she's a small child. And Lupe says that they can't just abandon her until they're certain she has someone to take care of her. So Lupe really is a good person. While her little friend here isn't, as he immediately says they should get rid of the brat before she could lead them into an overlander trap, making him get hit by the kid's sister as karma. All this does is make him snark that where there's one, there's also more. Well, duh. He's talking as if that's some ancient, profound wisdom when it's just common sense. Lupe tells him to not dare hurt the child, and the blonde girl's put down reveals that her sister, Athena, doesn't talk. Okay, Athena's a beautiful name, but I never liked people naming their kids after gods. I mean, who do they think they are? I guess it would be a waste if it was only allowed to be given to one person, though. So is Athena a mute? That's kinda interesting. Though I doubt her character will be capable of being developed much because it's hard to show personality for someone who can't talk. As I expected, it's revealed that the kids have no parents, and while Lupe shows sympathy for her and tries to decide what to do next, her little friend here shows his true colors once again as he just accused her of lying, thinking she's going to lure him into a trap just because she's a human. Maybe he's going into denial because he doesn't want to let himself feel sorry for her. The first story was written by Carl Bullers, and as Sonic making his triumphant return home to the city, although it gets hit by asteroids a lot for some reason. Why did Kodos and his friend here get uncrystallized anyways? It couldn't be because Ixis was sealed away, because then they would have been brought back to normal when he was sealed away, a long time ago. It was an exciting adventure while I was worried about the city, so it's a good thing that there weren't so many damages or anything. And Nate was brought back without much of a fuss, which is good. At the end of it all, Prince Elias comes back too, as well as the Queen, I assume. And this makes me look forward to next issue where we'll actually get to see what Sally's reaction to it will be. I can't imagine her heirship to the kingdom being stolen by brothers she never had met would make her too happy. It is rightfully his, but still, this will be a good chance to finally show her spoiled brat princess side again. We haven't seen that since she confronted Jeffrey on usurping her authority to the king. Probably because she's gotten good at keeping her spoiled brat persona to herself. That's part of maturity. And the second story was written by Kim Penders, and the situation at the end of it actually made me start to care about what's going on with the wolf pack finally. As not only do they find some orphaned kids, but overlanders at that. So this is gonna be interesting. With one of the wolf pack being all untrusting of them, while Lupe shows some compassion by being on their side. I'm interested in seeing more of this, especially learning what happened to their parents in the city in the first place.